Hello, today we'll talk about our analysis of shopping behavior using transaction level data to understand who our customers are, how they behave, and where revenue is truly generated. Our analysis follows a clear structure. First, we look at customer demographics. Second, we examine shopping and payment behaviors. Finally, we analyze product categories and customer segmentation and translate these findings into practical business recommendations. The key theme you will hear throughout this presentation is very simple. Growth is driven by behavior and product strategy, not demographics or geography. Let's start with customer demographics. On the left, we see a geographic distribution of customers across the United States. What is immediately noticeable is how evenly distributed customers are across the states. The difference between the lowest and highest state counts is relatively small. This tells us that geography is not a major differentiating factor in the dataset. There is no single region-driven demand, and no obvious geographic concentration to exploit. On the right, we see the age distribution. Customers aged 30 to 60 clearly from the core of the customer base, with the 45 to 60 group being particularly strong. This slide adds gender and spending behavior. The donut chart shows that approximately two-thirds of customers are male. However, when we look at the heat map on the right, we see something more important. Across all age groups and both genders, average purchase amounts remain remarkably consistent, generally falling between $58 and $62. This means that while customer composition differs by gender, spending power does not. Female customers spend just as much per order as male customers. So what does this mean from a business perspective? The implication is that pricing strategies does not need to be segmented by age or gender. There is no strong evidence that demographic-based pricing will increase revenue. Instead, further analysis and strategy should shift toward product preference and behavior differences, which are far more likely to drive value. Okay, now let's move from demographics to shopping behavior. On the left, we compare discounted and non-discounted purchases. The result is very clear. Non-discounted orders generate more total revenue than discounted ones. This suggests that the platform has strong inherent pricing power, and that discounts are not always necessary to drive sales. On the right, we analyze purchase amount by shipping type. Although small visual differences, there's no meaningful variation in purchase amount across shipping options. Shipping speed or method does not appear to significantly influence how much customers spend.
Okay, so for this slide, we focus on payment behavior and seasonality. On the left, we can see payment method by age group across all age ranges. Digital wallets, especially payment and PayPal and Venmo, constantly dominate spending. This indicates a strong adoption of digital payment methods even among older customers. And on the right, we can examine seasonal spending. Total purchase amounts remain very stable throughout the year, typically ranging from $55 to $60,000 per season. There is no strong seasonal spike or decline. So, taken together, these findings suggest an important conclusion. Broad seasonal marketing campaigns are likely to be highly effective. Instead, the real opportunity lies on customer segmentation, behavioral targeting, and product-focused strategies. In other words, who the customer is matter than less than the how they behave. Now let's turn to product level insights. The top 10 products chart shows a surprisingly uniform sales pattern, with most products generating similar revenue levels. So this suggests that the demand is well distributed across products rather than concentrated in a few bestsellers. And on the right, we can see the spending by age group across categories. The customers aged 45 to 60 constantly spend the most regardless of product category. This group represents that the highest value customer segment. On this slide, we look at the performance by category. Clothing clearly dominates total sales, followed by accessories. The footwear and outerwear lag significantly behind. So on the right, we can see the category performance split by discount usage. Across all categories, we can get non-discounted purchases contribute between 55 and 60% of revenue. This reinforces that the idea that blanket discounting is unnecessary and potentially inefficiency. From a strategic perspective, this leads to a clear recommendation. Category-specific pricing strategy are far more effective than uniform discounting. Outwear may benefit from targeted seasonal promotions. In contrast, clothing and accessories should focus on pricing discipline, assortment dips, and availability, rather than the frequent discounts.
Next, we analyze the customer segmentation. High-value customers are evenly distributed across country, once again confirming that geography is not a key driver. We also see wide variation in purchasing frequency. However, high-frequency and low-frequency customers contribute similar total value. This means that frequency alone is not a reliable indicator of customer importance. This slide combines category and seasonal behavior. Across all seasons, clothing remains the strongest revenue driver. Seasonal variation is minimal and customers maintain stable spending year-round. This consistency suggests a predictable demand pattern and low seasonality risk. The conclusion for segmentation is straightforward. The business should prioritize category-driven strategies, especially those focused on clothing rather than relying on seasonal timing or geographic targeting. And then, to summarize our key insights. First one, clothing and accessories generate most revenue and show strong pricing power. And then medium frequency shoppers contribute the highest overall value. The third one, payment preference vary by age, but high-value customers are evenly distributed geographically. Overall, behavior and product choice matter far more than who the customer is or where they live. And then there's our recommendations. Based on these findings, we recommend focusing on the high-value behaviors rather than the demographics. This concludes prioritizing strong categories, reducing blanket promotions, using targeted discounts for sensitive categories, and building loyalty and re-engagement programs. The goal is to increase long-term customer lifetime value, not short-term promotional spikes.
Thank you for your call for listening.